Have you ever been on a walk with someone and at the end of it, you're like, wow, I didn't know this about them at all? Well, that is the point of Walk and Talk, a podcast where we walk and talk about their life, their stories, and what makes them them. So join me and my guests every week as I walk and talk with a different person, getting to know them on a deeper level.
Let's not waste time, we'll take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth.
This week on Walk and Talk, we have Stace Jones from Christian Preschool Center. Well, welcome, Stace. Thanks for joining me on this Walk and Talk. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Here we go. We're walking and we're actually talking. So pretty straightforward. Yeah, so I'm married, love of my life. So we've been together, I guess, 15 years. We got 3 kids, 13 girl, 10 boy, and a 7-year-old girl.
Okay.
So love those guys that keep us really busy and engaged. Our life kind of revolves around work and our kids.
So which one is easier, raising boys or girls?
I don't know, like my 13-year-old, it's like, she's the kind of person I want to be when I grow up.
Okay.
So she's really smart. Her academics, she's borderline genius. Sports, she works really hard. She's not super athletic, but she's becoming more and more athletic.
Okay.
And a lot of that's just because of her work ethic. So she does soccer, she dances, she plays golf, she does volleyball, basketball, all for her school, and then she also is part of a club soccer team.
Holy cow.
So she's busy.
Does she ever sleep?
Sometimes she crochets at night.
Oh, okay.
So she's trying to start, on Etsy, she's trying to sell crochet items and things that she's made. She's actually really good at it. It's not like, mediocre kind of stuff. So
it's not like you're incredible. Doing it out there.
No, she we call her like a grandma a little bit. Because she's so good at it.
What is she like? I've seen some Facebook ads for like wobbles, or I don't know if that's the right word. It's like Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah.
Is she just freelancing, or is she like?
She can make just about anything that she sets her mind to. As long as she has a pattern for it, she can make it. And she even things that she doesn't have a pattern for, like she started making clothes.
Oh wow!
Like that goes over. But she makes like these little, I don't know, like stuffies.
Okay.
So she makes those. She makes. She made an angry uterus for her teacher.
Oh.
So that was interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Her aunt, she's in midwifery, and so she made her like a baby and a placenta.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. So yeah, she's super talented. So raising her, yeah, she's been pretty easy for the most part. I mean, every child has their moments.
Yes.
They test their boundaries and the limits, and it's my job just to kind of keep them between the rails as they learn to make choices on their own. And the better they get at making their choices, the more we kind of expand the rails, so to speak. So, yeah.
So does being a parent, and I know I'm sidetracking into your business real quick, but
yeah.
Has that helped you like kind of model CPC? We can go this way.
Actually, growing up in this industry and working with children all my life, and the training that I've had has actually helped me become a better parent.
Gotcha.
So our curriculum has a lot to do with that. It's the idea that as a child, they need structure, they need discipline, and all that's, straight from the Bible. You can find that there.
Yes.
Constant discipline. They also need to know they're loved. They need to know they're cared about. And so just making sure that you're doing your best as a parent to facilitate all those needs. But as far as like structure and discipline, like that's, between my wife and I, I'm definitely more the disciplinarian. It's just like I hold true to what I said, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yes.
Right? And if you go outside of that, well, you know what the consequences are.
Yes.
And so it's like, let me have these disciplines here at a young age, these consequences now, when they're not, life-threatening, or they're not, they don't mess with you, versus when you're older and you learn them, and they can affect your whole life, right? Whether it's your credit, your finance, your life, your skills, etc. So let me learn these things now. So that's kind of the goal there.
Go this way.
But yeah, a lot of that's in our curriculum. And our curriculum is biblically founded.
Yes.
And so, they tie hand in hand. And one of the cool things about the Bible is that it actually works.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it does.
So it's like, hey man, if you actually, uphold these principles, they work. And my 13-year-old, she's an incredible product of that.
Yes.
Of the Bible.
Yes. And I noticed, like, for me, I start my day with the Bible, my day's just better.
Yeah.
Like, even on, like, the weekends with our youngest, Blake, she's going to Learning Tree.
Yeah, awesome.
She loves it. She comes home, she's singing all the songs. Jesus loves me. She doesn't know all the words, but it's the cutest thing in the world. But that's what we love. Like,
right.
She's getting that every day. It's Christian oriented.
Right.
And that's what kids need. And not only them, but us. They hold us accountable.
Right.
Like, every time we sit down to eat, Blake's like, hey, we didn't pray. And she goes with the God is good, God is great. Let's thank Jesus for our food. And it doesn't matter who we're with. Like, we'll be at Thanksgiving with my whole family, and Blake's just staring around at people like, hey, we didn't pray.
I love that.
So my dad, he always tries to pray because, head of the house. And Blake's like, no, we're praying my prayer. So
it's fantastic.
Like, as much as we want to take, like, and be like, yeah, we did. No, it was her school because you guys created that foundation.
Well, it's a team effort, right? Like,
yes.
You take it, but you also encourage it at home. And so, you can't say it's just one or the other. There's definitely a combination of both. So that's wonderful. I can't tell you how many families or parents that we've gotten to have a conversation about Jesus because of that reason.
Yes.
They're like, okay, I knew we signed up for this, but tell me more about this Jesus guy.
Mm-hmm.
What is that all about? So we've gotten to have a lot of conversations based off their child leading essentially their parents to Christ. So that's really cool. It's like, it's moments like that. Drop the mic. I'm done here. If we don't do anything else, we've accomplished our goal or mission. Like, this is it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a really incredible thing.
So let's go back a little. When you were growing up, you said your parents started the company.
Yeah.
Did you know you always wanted to be in it, or were you like, no?
My youngest brother, yes. Me, absolutely not. My dad owned the lawn care business for a while before, I guess when I was little.
Okay.
So I wasn't much part of it then, but he always had the equipment. And so we always did the yard and the maintenance on the schools. And so from a very young age, I was a part of that.
Okay.
I was also a janitor. I was good at cleaning things. My mom would stay after hours at the school, and she was always moving furniture around and cleaning underneath them and cleaning behind them and, setting up classrooms. So I was the mover of the furniture.
Okay.
And the sweeper and the mopper, and it was never good enough. We always had to do it again. My dad was the kind of guy, like, if I miss one piece of blade of grass, like, you mow the whole yard again.
Really?
Yeah. Like, Dad, can I just go back over that? Nope. Whole yard again. So you just learn how to do things. I'm not quite that way with my kids. I do have a standard of excellence with them.
Yes.
But I'm trying to get away from the perfectionism that crept into my life a little bit because of that. Yeah. So, but it was good. It was a good learning experience for me. So I had no, and then we sit at the dining room table, and we talk about work. So I listened to it as a kid over and over and over. There's a lot of good, but man, you're dealing with people. So yeah, the stories I got to hear were the ones that were stressing my parents out.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't want any part of some of the heartache that you deal with.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't anything I want to do. And so I kind of had this idea, like, as a kid, I wanted to be a fireman. Kind of grew up through that. And then I had this idea that I either wanted to go to Bible college,
Okay.
or I wanted to be in real estate in some form or fashion. Because I looked at real estate, I was like, that's a way you can make a lot of money. And so yeah, let me either pursue that lifestyle, or I want to pursue like missional lifestyle. Like, I don't know, but I don't want it to do early education. It wasn't until later that I really found a passion for it.
Okay. So, did you ever consider like real estate? That you could do missionary work in your real estate?
I mean, not that young. I didn't quite understand that.
No, I don't think anybody does.
It's like, yeah, you can definitely do both now.
Yeah, that's
But at that age, it's like, I love people. I love working with people, but I didn't want to be in charge of people necessarily.
yes.
I didn't want to be a leader in that way, just because I watched like what that does to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you have to endure. Like, leadership's messy. It's emotionally bloody and gutting, and yeah, bosses are one thing, but leaders are another.
Yes.
And I watched my parents work through leadership, and yeah, that can be gutting. You pour yourself out into somebody, and they just, take it a different way, and that just hurts.
Yes.
So,
and the good leaders have to have those tough talks. They can't just sidestep around it.
Yeah,
because it doesn't help anybody.
Right.
And I used to in my other career in education, I used to hate it. Like, you don't want to say it, but you got to, and then you hope they realize like you're on their side. Like,
right,
we're not doing this because we want to punish you. We're doing it so you can learn. And nobody likes taking criticism. Like, especially if like you're the same age as them, or you're younger than them, because they're like, well, I have more experience in this, and you're like, I understand. I'm not taking away your experience. We're just trying to adjust how you do this one thing. So, yeah, leadership.
Well, and you take it home with you too,
And see, that's what I struggled with. When I started in education, I was single, had no kids. I was coaching. You go home, you're single. Like, you don't.
That's what you do.
Yeah. Well, got married. Love my wife, love my family, but. And not, that was terrible, but. But like when you're in education, you're around kids all day, and then you coach them, and you're with them till 10 o'clock, and then you go home for your kids. I struggled with finding the energy and not remembering what these kids at school did to me, and so it was back and forth struggle. Lots of talk with Lauren at night, like, I'm struggling with this, like.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we moved to Lubbock while I was still at Wilson. The drive home, the 20 minutes, that was a big change. And I still struggled with it. Like you said, leadership, you bring it home, it wears you down.
Well, because you care. It'd be different if it's like the whole boss versus leader mentality.
Yes.
Like, well, the way I see is a boss is somebody who's using you as a stepping stone into something for them next, right?
Yes.
So what's their next position? And so I'm working with the people here. They're my platform on which I'm going to stand on to get to my next position, right?
Yes.
And so you don't necessarily, you'll train them enough to help you enough.
Yes.
And then you're off. Whereas a leader, it's like, I want everybody around me to be better than I am. I want them to be as good as they possibly can be and as successful as they can be. And if it's with me and it's within this space that I'm working, then great. Let me pour into you. Let me hold you accountable. Let me high five you. Let me have those hard conversations with you. Like, I'm going to give myself to you, right?
Yes.
And serve you in that way, whether it's a pat on the back or a kick in the butt. And if it's not with me or within my space, I'm going to help you realize that.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm going to release you into your destiny to go maybe somewhere different path, right?
Yes.
Different pathway, different goals, different ambitions. Maybe that's where you need to be.
Yes.
And that's what you do as a leader. You help people find their purpose. You help people live their purpose to the best of your ability.
Yes. So now let's shift to, because a lot of people struggle with this. I struggle with it. Is working with family, and not only do you work with family, but you also work with your wife.
Yeah.
Your brother.
Yep.
And your parents are still involved a little.
They're retired. They're officially retired.
But when you started, they were still involved.
Yeah. So I've got 3 brothers. I worked with 2 of them, and my parents coming up. That was a struggle. We're trying to find our way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest struggle that we had is, and this is something that we've tried to solve since, is have boundaries.
Yes. So
you got personal and professional boundaries. It's challenging when your dad, as good as he is, as much as he wants for you, but yet he's talking to you differently than he would talk to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
He might yell at you, or he's not going to yell at somebody else. He might express his frustration more deeply and passionately,
yes,
than he would with somebody else. And he might do that over and over and over. And so that was a challenge to it took me a while to be like, hey, Dad, I don't appreciate the way you're coming at me, or whatever. And really, he just wanted the best. He wanted the best. That's the way he pushed himself. That's the way he talked to himself. And so he wanted the best for us. And then I had, my mom that kind of went at it a different way. She was just she's like a hurricane. She's a force of nature. When she's involved, everything around her changes. But then you run into some inconsistencies with that, because wherever she's at was the most important place. But what about everything else around her, right?
Yes.
Those other places. And so they didn't get the attention or the resources or whatever. And so, I think my younger brother and I learned a lot from that.
Okay.
As far as we want to make sure we spread time and energy and effort across all of the schools, more so as much as we can, and make sure everybody has equal, opportunity, but time, resources, availability. And so that's something we've been working on. Consistency is a big key to that. But my older brother too, we're all super passionate. We're just a really passionate family. We're very vocal. Lauren could probably tell you a story of us, or maybe has, I don't know.
Oh, I've heard a couple.
There's one time where, my brother's kind of getting elevated, and I started getting elevated, and, he's yelling, and he's like, what's your problem? I'm just fighting fire with fire, baby. Just fighting fire with fire, which is, it's not a healthy place to be. It's not a healthy relationship. And we're working so closely together.
Yes.
And then, we're eating dinner together that same night, and we're trying to, balance that out. And we're still talking about work. Every meeting just carries on into the next thing that we're doing. So we never got away from it. And it wasn't really until my parents sold out to us and retired that we really started building some of those boundaries.
Okay.
My wife came on board, and she's like, look, I love what you do. I love being a part of it. I love how passionate you are, but I don't want to live this 24/7.
Yeah.
So, and we started having to rethink about it. We still talk about it. I still talk about it around my children. I want them to know some of the ins and outs, but it's not the only thing we talk about now.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen you guys over the years. Yeah, we're not seeing day-to-day stuff, but
yeah,
the one story I remember, and I think it was that one that Lauren said, was where you guys were yelling at each other.
Yeah, you definitely hear it down the hallway.
But I think that shows the passion and what you guys
absolutely
dig into this company. It's not just your parents' company now; it's your company. And I used to coach with my dad, and then my older brother was also on the staff. Not only that, I lived with them.
Oh, okay. And this is getting more interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, right out of high school, I knew I wanted to be a coach. Well, I thought I did.
Well, you were.
I was. And so my dad, he was coaching, and he's like, hey, you can stay, when you come to practice, you can stay at our house. And then when you go take your classes, find somewhere else to stay. So I split in time. And then he offered my oldest brother come coach with them. And this is 6-man football in New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
So we got 3 coaches for 6-man. I think we only had 8 kids.
Wow.
And so,
Okay. I mean, good ratio.
yeah. And really, coaching football, you want lots of coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the youngest, okay? My oldest brother, we're very hard-headed. And Lauren will tell this too. Like, Thanksgiving dinners, we're talking about sports, it's get heated, and my mom just shuts us down with 1 minute, and we're like, okay, back to reality. So, my brother, way better athlete than me, like, way better. One stayed in basketball, football, I think they were runner-up, but he went on to play college, and knows way more than me, like, way more.
Yeah.
To this day, he still knows more. He's not listening to this podcast, so I can say it.
So you're good.
But 6-man, I played it, he didn't. I think I know a little more, okay? Well,
Yeah.
Younger brother is the offensive coordinator. He's not. Well, you're older, aren't you?
Then Brooks, yeah.
So you know how it is when the younger brother kind of tries to, like, come in and act like the boss. And well, he didn't like it. So one game, he's like, I'm not listening to you. I'll call him the plays. Well, we all went back to the house afterwards.
Uh-oh.
And it was not fun. But we learned that me and him cannot coach together. But it wasn't that we were mad that each other were being successful. It was we were so passionate about we think this is what's best for the kids.
Yeah.
And then my dad just sitting back there laughing, having a good time. And it's funny how you're saying, like, your dad was very strict on, like, mowing the grass if he had the blade.
Yep.
My dad, he would come home, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom for a while with 4 boys. And we weren't the best. We were terrible. Just terrible to her. And my dad would come home, hear all about it. He'd go into my oldest brothers, and he was in charge of cadets, like, at the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
And then at regular basis, he was in charge of a squadron where he'd go in and do the room check the corners of the bed. He'd get the white glove out.
Okay.
He'd come in the house and you'd hear him going and your room was clean, you thought. He'd go in there and he'd rip them. And you could just hear it through the vents. And so you're like scrambling the dust and get everything, even though you swear it's clean. And so to watch him, like, not only he was my coach in school, like how you said they would yell at you different.
Yeah.
My dad met me at half court one time on a basketball game. I didn't even do anything wrong and chewed me out during a timeout. Didn't even talk to the other players. And we were winning. And you just, like, take it.
Yeah.
You can't do anything else. And so to watch him during this whole heated argument of just laughing, and you're like, what happened to the guy that would get mad over a little dust on our window And so it's funny to watch your parents evolve.
Oh, man.
Even like my oldest brother would be like, he was so soft on you. And you're like, yeah, he was compared to you.
Yeah.
Because he had you to do it. And so now even watching them with your own kids, you're like,
Now that's been weird.
you're like, what is this? Like, you're taking up for ice cream?
Who are you? You know, I literally tell my parents that all the time. I'm like, who are y'all? Like, I don't think they know the word no at Mama and Chief's house.
Yes.
Yeah, my kids are like, you know, like, when they come home, it's like, okay, it's a detox.
Yes.
All right. So go ahead and line up. We're going to have a talk, everybody.
Yeah. And
Okay, how it was there is not how it is here. Let's go.
well,
You know?
and then one time Lauren was like, why are you so much nicer to your nieces and nephews when they're over than your own kids? I was like, because I'm the uncle.
It's
Like,
not my job.
like, my job is them.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, level it out. I was like, okay, I don't know how to level it out, but okay. And so it's just funny.
Yeah.
You're always like, oh, your parents are so nice, and then you see yourself doing it to your nieces and nephews, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just like them.
Well, it's like, okay, so as a parent, I think it's our responsibility. And so you feel that heavier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's my responsibility to give everything I've got to my kids,
Yes.
right? My knowledge, any wisdom, anything I've learned, my experiences, my love, right? I want to share all of that as much and as often as I can with my children. Now, because of their choices, that's on me right now.
Yes.
Right? When they're older, that's going to be on them. Hopefully, I did a good job. But with your nieces and nephews, like if they've got good parents, you ain't worried about it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you want to trash this room out and put all your toys everywhere, and like, hey, that's fine. Anderson will clean it up when she's done.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just different. And so I hope one day I get to be a grandparent. I hope, God willing, I'll live long enough on all the things, because I really think that's kind of a reward for, being a great parent.
Yeah.
So if everything works out well, then, you get to spoil your grandkids rotten.
Yeah. And then
That's my goal.
Yeah.
That's my goal, for my kids to be great parents, so I can just spoil the heck out of my grandkids.
Yes. Well, my dad likes to remind us that, because we have 15-year-olds, he's like, it could be happening soon. He's like, you guys raised them right, but look at your brother.
No.
And I'm like, oh, don't you dare say that. He's like,
take it back.
Take it back. I'm just saying, like, we thought we raised all of you right, and sometimes life gets in the way. You're boys. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so, like, Chloe was talking about a boy, and I'm just sitting there like, no. And Lauren's just like so excited, and I'm like, no. So I text Joey, and I was like, she's talking about a boy. He's like, oh my gosh, we'll get the guns ready. I was like, you're a cop, you don't need to. So, you're uniform. So, and then Emmett's over there, 10 years old, talking about like having a girlfriend. I'm like, oh yeah, good job, dude. And I'm like, wait, no, too young, sir. And I got Blake, who's got a boyfriend at school, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're 3 years old. No. She has to hug him every time they leave.
Oh man,
come on. And the teachers just look at me like, I know this is killing you. I'm like, yeah, where's your kid at? I'm gonna find how old yours is and send my boy to go hug yours. So it's funny.
Yeah,
it can be frustrating, but then it's so funny at the same time.
I love it. I wouldn't trade it. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Being a dad is one of the greatest things in the world.
And Lauren always asks me, she's always like, so do you want to go like live on your own now that you've been married for a couple of years? I'm like, no. So we don't annoy you? I'm like, I didn't say that. I was like, what do you mean I give it up?
Right.
Like, life, everything's going to annoy you at some point. I'm like, I'm pretty sure me just looking at you right now is annoying you, Lauren, so.
Well, like that whole thing where like, where's your home? Like it literally is, where's my wife?
Yes.
That's home. So, like I think it's a goal of ours one day. When our kids are out of the house, we want to travel. I mean, we travel a little bit now, sometimes a lot, but I want to travel, like I want to go different places, live different places, because we can, it's like, I want to be able to do that. And it's like, where's home? Well, home's where my wife's at.
Yes.
Where she's at, that's what I'm coming home to. So yeah, that's a cool deal.
Well, I recommend, if you're going to travel, either a travel trailer. I lived in one.
Yeah.
As Lauren told everybody when we first started dating. She always likes to remind me. Highly recommend it. Or an RV. Like, you just go.
Yeah, I tried to convince Kristen that. She's like, nah, I'm not about that.
I don't know. There are some amazing ones that I'm like,
she likes to fly.
See, I do too.
Yeah. And then we've gotten this like priority status.
Oh, so you're like, I am never going back.
Yeah, exactly. And companion pass.
Oh.
So one of you flies for free. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. $100 ticket gets you, to Dallas or Austin or wherever. So
yeah,
that's a nice deal.
So, well, let's swing back into. You said you want to be in real estate when you were younger, but now you've kind of got a side business, you and your brother.
Yeah.
So it's kind of come full circle of.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah.
So, my mom was into real estate before she got into childcare and early education. She was taking over an office for her uncle, and it was his objective for her to take over the Lubbock office, and he had 2 offices, one in Houston, and then he would keep his Houston office. So he wanted her to be the broker over Lubbock. So she was working towards that, doing a pretty good job with it, until she ended up, hearing God's call, and taking over school with 9 students, 2 of them her own, my 2 older brothers.
Hold on.
Yeah.
It started with 9.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, my mom, there was a lady that owned it. And so she had this, she'll say the Holy Spirit, the urging, right? So she shut the real estate office down, what she told me she's never done before. And then she goes over there and she finds the owner director in the floor just behind her desk, just crying.
Oh no.
And my mom's like, what's going on? She said licensing came in and we have to put a new fence, a new regulation at the time. And we have to put a fence up or they're going to shut us down. So I guess it was going to be about $3,000, which this is 42 years ago.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah. So my mom's like, okay. So she prays about it. She feels convicted, like we need to give her the money. And my dad's like, I don't feel convicted by that at all. I did not feel the same way.
Sounds like a dad thing.
Yeah. So, one of the things about my mom though is whenever she feels convicted that way, that strongly, it's like she knows that she knows. It's like there's just a supreme confidence about her.
Yes.
Like she knows it's going to work. She has no doubt, complete faith. And so my dad eventually, I don't think he ever heard from God in a sense, but he's like, all right, I trust you. And so they went and put up some collateral, I think the refrigerator or whatever, and they got a loan for this $3,000 because they didn't have it. And they gave it to this lady. Well, a couple months later, my mom walks in, lady hands her the keys and says, I'm out, I'm done, can't do this anymore. It's yours if you want it. Yeah, so they looked at the books and like, this doesn't work. Financially, this doesn't make sense. But she definitely felt an urge. And she'll tell you again, Holy Spirit, God, she felt an urge towards it, like, take care of my children. What she was what the story that she tells me is like, God told me to take care of his children.
That's so amazing.
And so, yeah, they started it. She quit, told her uncle, like, hey, I'm going to have to go do this. He's like, that's not a great choice, but okay. You're fixing to take over this and you're going to go do that. It's like, I know, this is what I feel like God's telling me to do. Kind of like with your podcast, he's telling me to do this. So conviction, and here's the deal, like 3 months, I guess it was 2 or 3 months later. So God, if it really is God, he's going to open a door and make it work.
Yes.
Right. And so I guess 2 or 3 months later, not Asbury Methodist, but one of these Methodist churches, pastor comes in and he says, I've never had a child care in my church and I don't plan on starting now. He had 41 students. So my mom goes over and she gets 39 of them. Yeah, and the rest is, here we go. Here's where we're at.
Wow.
So she went from like 9 students overnight to Ramon to almost 50.
Isn't that amazing how God
students.
just, like, you jump head first, like when God calls and he just does it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't understand how I got here, God. But you're here.
And so, like, for us to say, like, we did this or she did this, or, yeah, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of late nights, a lot of those, but ultimately it's his plan.
Yeah.
It's his purpose. And, we're just one piece of a puzzle. And she just stepped in the gap and said, okay, I'm here, let's do it.
That is so amazing.
It's a cool start.
It is. So sorry, I saw it.
Yeah.
I got on the 9-kid story. So back to the real estate. Sorry.
Yeah. So I guess about 10 years ago, my brother and I, we bought a duplex just down the street, like right across from the office.
Okay.
That duplex, we bought it for $55,000.
Oh.
And I guess 10 years later, it's worth $110,000 and it's paid for. So we've used that piece of real estate to buy other houses in the neighborhood. So I guess we've got about 15 houses in this neighborhood now.
Just this neighborhood?
Yeah.
So you could change it to the Jones block. You got the Tech Terrace over there somewhere. Jones.
Yeah, Tech Terrace is across that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the Jones
So
neighborhood.
everything from like University to Avenue X, we've bought houses in that space. We also bought some houses in Amarillo, some new houses there. We partnered with one of our realtor and friend of ours and bought a house together. Partnered with my dad and bought a few houses together. And then we also bought some commercials. So when we actually bought my dad out, we bought a lot of commercial properties from him.
Okay.
And structured a deal to make that work. That was advantageous for everybody. And that's really kind of how we made that work. It's really the real estate side of it. And so from there, we just keep adding properties. Got Airbnb now. And
Alabama?
Alabama, yeah. South Alabama and Dauphin Island.
Yeah, me and Lauren need to go check that out.
It's nice.
Not to bring a Michigan flag, plant it right there in the front. Just remind those Bama fans we still own you.
Well, I mean, I don't want anybody to burn it down or anything. So
I can't guarantee that.
They get pretty serious. They
I
get
know.
pretty hardcore about their Bama team.
But
and then we bought some houses in Amarillo, Airbnbs. Got a couple houses in Lubbock, Airbnbs. So and then we're fixing to finish a house in Abilene, Airbnb there. But real estate's it's a long game, and it's really a snowball.
Yes.
And so you buy one property, let it pay itself down, provides income, and then that, again, it allows you to use that equity towards another purchase. So a lot of these purchases we did without actually having to put money into it, which is an aggressive way to do it. So,
see, you need to get with the tech business school and go teach them a class or do a seminar, because kids need to know that. Like,
yeah.
Like, real estate is a great business if you do it smart.
It can be.
It's also going to make you turn gray.
It can do that too.
But no, I'm serious. Like, even like a high school, they need to bring in business people, successful, even that have stumbled, like, and teach kids about it.
Yeah.
Because it's our job to teach them. We don't teach them.
Yeah, well, it's like my parents taught us about business, about those things. We saw it, we lived it, right? I'm trying to do my best to teach my children about it. Krista's dad owned a business that his parents owned and started. And so they taught her about business. And so we came together and, we're working together with my brother, and running this business and other teammates. But it's something that it's not taught. You don't learn it in school. You don't learn it. It's not a normal part of everyday conversation or understanding. And as much as we know, which we've learned a lot, there's like a whole nother level to it.
Yeah.
So it's like you learn a little bit more. It's like, man, there's a whole lot I don't know. And I know a lot, you know? So yeah, I think that would be, I think that'd be really cool if they started this even in elementary, running business programs, and they try to do it to.
Well, you guys
an extent.
kind of do. You partner with the lemonade stand thing every.
Yeah, the lemonade's they try to get it going,
and that's great.
Yeah,
I love it because I get lemonade.
But yeah, even with them, with learning to, they have to go to the bank.
Yeah,
they have to ask for a loan, or they don't really ask the bank for a loan, but they learn that you can go get a loan here. This is one way to do it. And then they get a loan, and then they pay the loan back, and so that way they understand how much they have to make, how much things cost, even at a young age. But like, where can I get money?
Yeah.
How can I go about that process? So the less fearful they are, the more they're going to be willing to do it. Like, I want my kids to be comfortable in the rooms that I wasn't comfortable in. My dad wasn't comfortable going to banks early on, but he started taking me with him. He would take me with him when he'd go ask for money or when he'd meet with his banker. And so understanding the importance of those relationships, was important for him to teach me. And so I take my kids now, whether I'm meeting with an attorney about something, whether I'm meeting with a banker, whether I'm setting up an LLC, like, I explain to them, this is how it works. This is who we're meeting with. Realtor, when we're looking at a house, what questions to ask. Let's go see the house together. So, I try to get them a part of that process as much as possible.
Yeah, because, a lot of kids, Heck, I didn't even know when we bought our first house what actually went into it. And you're like, I gotta have this much money?
Right.
Or did you know how to balance a checkbook when you were...
Yeah, so my dad did this thing with Alliance Credit Union. They used to have this kids club.
Okay.
So every time we made a deposit or whatever, they'd give you $5. And you had to balance your checkbook, and
Oh.
that was the whole thing. So we did it through that.
And the bad thing is everybody's like, oh, checks aren't needed. I had to write a check just to get a security deposit for our baseball team's catcher's gear.
Yeah.
I had to go digging for a check.
Yeah, you have to dig for them now.
Yeah. He's like, does this even work? I was like, I don't know. If it doesn't, call me. I'll get you the money. Like,
yeah, when we have to write a check, like personal, we have to go digging for it nowadays.
and then, like, Emmett, thankfully, his Aunt Gay is teaching him cursive
Good.
because it's not taught.
Well,
And
when you have people sign their names and
Yeah.
they just write their name out,
And
you're
I'm
like,
like,
this is trippy.
this doesn't work. I'm sorry. So Emmett's actually can do his whole name. He can write a sentence. And it's like, and she always looks at me and she's like, why aren't you guys teaching this in school? I'm like, because we can't. We got to teach to the star.
Right.
And she's like, why? That's dumb. I was like, I agree. But that's how us public schools get our money.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great teachers out there, and you know, it's like there's some good things with what they're trying to do, but
it's,
with anything, there's always unintended consequences
mm-hmm.
to it. And so it's like, this sounds really good, and then you put it into practice, and there's like, okay, well, this is a problem with it, this is a problem with it. Did it solve the measuring? Maybe, if you want to measure those specific things. But then what's the unintended consequence? Well, you start having to teach to it because it's tied also to your funding. It's like, dang.
See, and I think it should be, okay, this school did so amazing on the test
Right.
score. You get some money.
Uh-huh.
This school that's struggling, why are they not getting more money to help get these kids where they need to be? Instead of rewarding all the good schools that keep getting positive scores with all this extra money, what if they already are doing it right?
Mm-hmm.
Send it into the schools that need it and can get them on the same level.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a challenge. Because also the question is, well, if I just pump more money in that school, does that fix the problem?
No, but
It may be or maybe not, right?
But you can now afford to hire a better teacher
Right.
or a tutor or that one-on-one.
Because
aid.
clearly you need additional resources.
Yes.
Like something, you need something.
Because Lubbock is big enough now.
Yeah.
You go to different areas in Lubbock, it's a different atmosphere.
So let me ask you, is it a school problem or is it a parent problem?
It is a parent
Right?
problem.
Okay, like we're trying to solve all these problems with the schools, and I get it. Like,
No, I know.
you know, and I'm for it. I'm for changing. I'm for updating. I'm for trying to figure it out. I think that's great.
But
I just keep running into like,
it's a
well,
parent.
what's the core issue?
Yeah. And
It's a parent problem. Well, how often do they see their dad, or how often do they see, you know, it's like, I know, like, if I wasn't present in my kid's life, how much different are my children going to be?
100% different.
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't have a male role figure in their life, how much of a challenge does that
It's a
give them?
And
So not that moms aren't great. Moms are fantastic.
they are. It's the same thing. Like, if the mom's not there, how much is your kid going to be different?
Right.
As much as we try to
Yes.
be the ones that love and care, there's no love and
There's
care
going
like
to be
a
a lack
mom.
of empathy. There's going to be a lack of compassion in certain spaces.
Because you look at the kid
Yep.
and you're like, what? You did it. Come on now.
When you got mom trying to do both roles, I was like, that's really, you know.
Yeah.
I know as great of a dad as I am, I wouldn't be able to do both.
Yeah. It's
Because I'm going to run like a military house, right? If Krista's out of town for a week, I run, hey, here's the schedule. Here's what we do. Here's when we do it. We lay our clothes out beforehand. Like, I'm not about all the wine. Like,
yeah.
guys, y'all are going to have to like figure some of this out. So we're going to plan ahead. You're going to knock these out because I'm just not going to have the patience with you.
Yeah. And then they're like, why is mom always fun? And you're like, I don't know. Just do it. And then she gets home. You're like, please don't ever leave. But can I leave and go on this trip while you stay here?
Yeah, they're like so glad mom's back. Like, oh, thank God, mom's back. You're like, that's right. You better appreciate your mom.
That's right. That's my job right there. Yeah.
So, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness she's back.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
we'll kind of get to the end of it now. One last little. I got to talk about sports.
Okay.
Your kids, I've seen them on Facebook doing the golf. How's that feel like being out there golfing with the kids?
I mean, it gives me a reason to. So I didn't play golf for I don't know. I played high school. I was competitive in high school. Loved it. Worked really hard at it. It taught me a lot about work ethic in general. It's like anything you do with all your might.
Mm-hmm.
Be exceptional at it by working really hard. I may not be the greatest talent. I may not have the greatest, skill set, but I can outwork you.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that's going to get me where I need to go.
Yeah.
And that works for golf. That works for sports. That works for, life, business, etc. I can outwork you, and that's gonna put me in a position to have a chance to be successful, right? At least give me a chance to be competitive in whatever field I'm in. So I didn't play for 10 years because it's so time. It takes so much time away from your family,
and you feel guilty a little when you're out there and you're
big time. I don't have to feel guilty. My wife's telling me like, where you at?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, hey, we expect you home. We expect you around.
Yeah.
So.
Well, even like I went on my birthday, and Lauren was like, "Yeah, go," but he's with all the kids, and I'm out there golfing. I'm like, "How can I I know she told me to, but I'm just imagining all the kids just running wild, and she's just like, "Where is he?" So I'm just like, bad enough they golf, and you add that, and it's like, all that now. Yeah.
No, I get to play every now and then that way. But most of the time I spend on the golf course or around the golf courses with my kids. Chris has gotten to where she kind of likes it because it gives her some free time.
Yeah.
And I've got the children, so she gets to, work on whatever she was working on, whether it's doing laundry or cleaning the house or, finances or junior league or taking a nap, like every now and then she works really hard at everything. And so gives her maybe some time to read.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So, or go to the grocery store. She keeps our family together.
Or play. What are they playing?
Oh, yeah. Mahjong?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so happy she started playing that.
Yeah. Well, Lauren texted me last Friday. She's like, hey, can I go play? I was like, yes. You don't need to ask. Just go. Just tell me so I can go pick up Blake and just go.
I got this. I got this.
You gotta do your thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it kills me.
That's good. That's so smart.
Well, it's like during college football.
Yeah.
Michigan, if their kickoff is at 11, I'm waking up with Blake. I'm cleaning until kickoff. I get Blake's breakfast. I'm vacuuming. I'm folding whatever laundry's there.
Nice.
And Lauren goes, she's like, why are you doing this? I'm like, because if I don't do it now, once that ball goes in the air, you're going to be like, hey, can you vacuum? And so I learned, if I get it done, she lets me watch it. One time when we were dating, she was like, hey, I'm going to go do my hair so we can go out after the game. Game took 2.5 hours. It's a normal college game. Not on Fox, because Fox is forever. And it's 3.5 hours later, I'm like, where is she? She's taking a nap. And so I'm like, she's got me trained to think I'm giving her free time, but really it's her tricking me. She's occupying me so she can be alone. But yeah, even my dad, he'll come over and he'll be like, why are you cleaning? Because if it gets done now, we can watch the game uninterrupted. No background noise of the vacuum. He's like, well, what about the kid? I'm like, she's just happier because you vacuumed and put the laundry up, so she takes them away.
Man, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Got to plan. Teamwork makes the dream work right there.
Exactly. And so, I'm easy. If Michigan's on, just let me watch it, and then I'll do whatever you want after.
Yeah.
And she's learned.
So what'd you think about this year with Michigan?
Oh, I loved it. About all the scandals.
All of it.
I mean, the recruiting thing from COVID, dude bought a hamburger.
Sounds like a true Michigan fan.
That's right. The scandal, if it really happened, yeah, he did the crime, do it. Like, get the punishment.
Yeah.
Do I think it's happening everywhere else? Yes.
Yeah, I think that's always the argument. It's like, well, where else is it happening?
But like I said, if they did it, you punish them.
Yeah.
Well, he got suspended. He served his punishment.
Yep.
Are you going to blame the kids? Did they do anything? No, they just went out and played the crap out of defense and
Yeah.
hammered Washington and Alabama. And
Yeah,
of
they
course, the team down south 3 years in a row. But what's the difference between watching film before and then you I mean, have you ever seen coaches break down a film?
No.
It's they don't even need the signals.
Yeah.
They're gonna know your tendencies just from watching film.
Yeah.
Like Coach Maskew used to be at Tech, and then he was at Wilson when I was there. And that dude, like breaking down film with him, like you forget to watch film because you're just watching him. Like he knew every third play is gonna be a sweep to the left.
Wow.
Doesn't matter what formation, sweep to the left.
Wow.
And you get in the game, third play, they ran the sweep. Next 3 plays, the sweep. And you just defend it. Like, how they're like, oh, they saw the signal. Of course they didn't need the signals, but yeah. But if you watch a college football game anyways, what are the cameras pointing at the whole time?
It's just weird. Like, even with the Bill Belichick scandal, right? I was just like, okay, I guess. Like, he was in the stands filming the guy using signals during the game. Okay. I mean, I guess it's illegal. Huh? Okay. You're filming the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's got phones out. Like, it seems like, I don't know.
It seems like they need to take away, like, letting him study film and go watch him in person, because with film you can rewatch the whole thing.
Yeah.
As many times you want. You watch it in person.
Just get rid of film altogether.
Yeah. Then let's see how good these teams really are. That would be something I would watch. Heck, I was telling my dad, I'm watching more women's college basketball now than I am men's.
Really? Why?
They play defense.
Okay.
Like, I understand the NBA, it's business. Like, it's pure entertainment now.
Yeah.
And I get that. And they went head in. Like, they didn't hesitate. That's cool. But I, as like a former basketball player coach, like, I want to see you guys play defense. Like, I'm sorry, this is not playing defense and Irving's just standing out there dribbling and you're back here. Like, make them do something.
Yeah.
And then they don't play men's basketball. It's all one-on-one now. Like,
right.
You're gonna come set a screen. I'm gonna do
a lot of pick and roll kind of stuff.
Women's, I was watching it and like they're running plays. All 5 on the floor are moving.
Well, why do you think that is?
Girls, I don't mean this badly. They just not as athletic as boys. And they can't jump as high. And their hands are big, but they're not as big, so they can't control the ball as easily as boys can.
Okay.
If you think about it, most college players, their hands are huge.
So what if guys were to go back to running more plays?
It'd be so much better. I think everybody would be.
Do you think they'd be better?
Yes.
Okay, so then it doesn't really have anything to do with boys versus girls, but there seems to be a reason that coaches do a lot of that.
I think it goes to, I don't care. It goes to AAU basketball.
Yeah.
That's
what Kobe says. AAU's a problem.
It is.
They said they don't teach them fundamentals.
No, I'm going to get the best kid, and I'm not going to coach him. I'm just going to let him go play.
Yeah.
Because if I try to coach him, he's going to leave my team and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I heard him do like an interview about AAU, and one of the things that he talked about was the fact that they just play.
Mm-hmm.
It is tournament after tournament. And so they might be skilled, he goes, but one of the things he did differently, he didn't do AAU, and so he was able to take a guy that, in an AAU game, it's really good. He goes, but he's all right hand.
Mm-hmm.
I can block him, I can keep him from moving his right side and make him force him to use his left hand.
Yeah.
because they don't learn the fundamentals because they play more than they practice. And he's like, practice is where
You learn.
practice is where it's at.
Well, and they have lots of knowledge today. I mean, like the old basketball players have so much more knowledge of basketball because they practice than the new ones, because all they do is, like you said, they go out and play. And playing's great. Like,
Yeah, you can learn a lot.
but you also need to be.
When do you work on the fundamentals? When you work on the strategy? When you work on the different things?
Did you watch the championship game?
No, so I watched March Madness. I watched a few games of March Madness. I don't, outside of Tech, I don't really watch, it's like, I don't really watch much basketball outside of when Tech's playing. I definitely don't watch NBA.
Yeah.
There's some, every now and then I'll watch the
finals.
A game. Yeah, I like the finals. I rooted for the Heat, when those three came together.
Oh my God,
that was fun. I watch some old MJ stuff.
Okay.
Like after I watched The Last Dance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go like, okay, I need to see this.
Okay.
How this broke down.
So think about that, watching the old basketball versus now.
Yeah.
What would you rather watch?
Oh, it was good. I liked it. They're so good now. Like,
they are.
Like shooting it from half court and making it. Come on, Steph's changed the game.
I understand, but
He's completely changed the game. And so KD, 7-footer, getting up and shooting long range. How do you stop it?
I mean, they stopped Larry Bird.
Larry Bird didn't even do that kind of stuff.
Because it wasn't.
They still try to hit the higher percentage. They just started driving in.
Well,
these guys, they stop and shoot threes,
Yeah, but think about it, when you watch those games, look at the defense. There's more guys picking up full court in the old.
Yeah.
But is there anybody picking up full court now?
I don't watch enough to break it down, but I don't think I see it. Because you want scores.
Yeah, and
you get paid to score.
And to be fair to the defense player, they can't, because back then they're
oh yeah, the rules changed it.
Now you touch them, or they're allowed to slap you off, and then they're gone. And it's like, you don't blame the defender. Like,
right,
they can't do anything about the rules. So so
has that made the basketball better or worse?
I think it's made it worse.
Yeah, I liked it when you're watching Scottie Pippen and Rodman and Jordan play defense. Man,
you should have seen Rodman on the Pistons.
I did. I watched him.
He's way better than he was on the Bulls.
He was a force, man.
I can't root for the Bulls.
You can't root for the Bulls?
I'm a Pistons.
Detroit Piston guy?
Yeah, I'm Michigan all the way.
Okay.
Red Wings, Lions.
I mean, at least you're consistent.
It's who I am. Like, even.
You like hockey too?
Oh yeah, I love hockey.
Really?
You ever watch hockey?
Cotton Kings. Cotton Kings as a kid. But I like the fighting. Like they take the gloves off, and like I waited for if they didn't have a fight, it wasn't a good game.
Oh man, hockey, in my opinion, is like a mix between basketball and football.
Yeah, I thought it was our version of MMA.
Yeah,
back in the day.
But it's so beautiful to watch what they do.
Yeah,
because they're dribbling.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal.
And then all of a sudden they get laid out, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I get you.
Hockey,
I could get in it.
And they still fight today.
I thought they kind of limited a lot of that.
Nope.
Okay.
And you ask them, like, you listen to the refs talk about why they let the fights go on.
Yeah.
Because they got dangerous skates. And so that's why the refs just circle around, and then once they get to the ground,
then
they jump on them and separate them. So they don't like to pull them away while they're up, unless they haven't started throwing punches.
Mm-hmm.
But because they don't want to take the risk of pulling and skates coming up and just slice. That terrifies me. Like, I don't see how more people haven't died in hockey. Like, skate. But yeah, hockey, check it out.
Okay.
Playoffs are starting soon.
I might watch a game or two.
But I was spoiled, though. Like, my parents, well, my mom, she likes sports just because she has 4 boys. But my dad was a Detroit fan. Red Wings back in the day, that was hockey. Like, them versus the Avalanche. That was a rivalry. And then even Sidney Crosby, when he first got in,
yeah,
he was amazing to watch. Try to take down the Red Wings, and he finally did. And then watching the Olympics where he gets the overtime goal to win gold against us. I think that was 2010, maybe 12. I just remember I was sitting in my brother's apartment watching it, and that was a hockey game. Like, USA, Canada, and Olympics, the best of the best, because that was when they let the pros play.
Yeah.
There's just something about hockey. Like baseball, it's all right, unless I'm watching it in person.
Man, okay, so baseball's like watching golf, as far as I'm concerned. Like, you can fall asleep.
He's doing a U-turn.
Huh.
You can fall asleep and still wake up and watch it.
Yeah, and not miss anything.
Yeah.
You know, like you wake up 3 innings later, it's like, oh.
Unless Tiger's at his prime, you don't fall asleep for Tiger.
No, that was special.
I'm excited for Tiger's son to get on the tour.
I mean, I feel bad for him. Nobody's gonna be Tiger.
Well, I think Tiger's doing it smart by keeping him away from the tour. Like, he'll do like the cool fun events.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I went through that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think in my opinion, I don't know. It looks like he's just kind of waiting. Like, no, you need to experience life.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, when you're older, go ahead. Because I think that really messed up Tiger as having his issues.
Well, when you're so focused on one thing, and that is your life, like, there's going to be other parts of you that, is not complete.
Yeah.
And so his ability to compartmentalize or shut things off or whatever you want to call it, like, yeah, it affects him personally.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
something's got to give. Like, you can't just be...
And I don't think his dad, like Tiger's dad, ever thought it would evolve to what it was when he pushed him.
I don't think he cared.
I think he did.
Really? I think his dad wanted him to be great at golf.
I think he did, but I don't think he thought about like how big Tiger actually became. Of how, like,
Well, I don't think they could have foresaw how big it would have been. But I think he knew, like, if he's successful at this, then he'll have any opportunity he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a piece of you that doesn't develop when you're that focused on something. Like, what do you have to give up, right? To be that good.
At your life.
Yes, that is your life. And so what do you miss? You miss
Walking.
social, emotional, religious. You miss, some fundamental components of being a person because of that focus.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes to be that great.
Mm-hmm. And that's why there's only one Tiger.
There's only been one Tiger.
And it was amazing to watch it happen.
Yeah.
And play the video game as Tiger.
Yes. Yep. With a little topspin, driving the greens.
Yeah. Maxing out that.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, and like, we used to get like NCAA football and Madden.
Oh, NCAA football was my jam.
And my dad was the type where he wouldn't let you win.
Yeah.
He wouldn't take it easy on you. Like, I forget what version of NCAA football it was, but it was when Northwestern had that fast quarterback.
Did you ever play Auburn '84?
No.
On the Sega?
No.
We played with Bo Jackson.
Okay.
Was the running back. And you could just do the spin move all the way through. Nobody could ever tackle him.
Well, my dad would play as Michigan. No, he was playing as Northwestern.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. He didn't care. He ran the option left. He's like, I'm running this one. And I was young. I was like, okay. And I get so mad because I couldn't stop it. And he's like, I'm not going to let you win.
I like
it doesn't
it.
teach you anything.
Hey, let's see for sure. All right. Yep, there it is. Almost. I got a fingernail left. Looks like a big black spot.
Have you heard about all the conspiracies with this? Like, some
No.
people are predicting Jesus is coming.
I hope so.
Oh,
I don't think it's because of this, though.
Well, one TikTok Lauren sent me was about the blood moon. Like, the moon's going to turn blood when Jesus comes, right?
Yeah.
Well, the moon is turning blood.
Right.
Because of rust is happening, but I don't know what the element is. I don't want to say it wrong. what's happening up there.
But I mean, this has happened before too, you know.
That's
So
my thing.
it's like I don't know. I got to say that is what it is.
Well, and then you heard
I don't
like
know.
they're supposedly not letting semis drive during it.
Trucks?
Yeah.
Why not?
Thank you.
Is there something?
And then they just put out like an announcement last week about your pets. Watch your pets because they're gonna go crazy during the clip. And I'm like, we've had these before. Like,
We had one when I was a kid, you know?
yeah,
Right? Do you remember that one?
yes.
And they're like, oh, this is the first time in 300 years. I'm like, well, maybe for this kind of particular clips.
I never understood what
But we like made little glasses and
Yeah.
everything in like elementary school.
I know there was one when I was in college. I just put like 3 pairs of sunglasses on and just went out. I Googled it today and they're like, that doesn't work. And I'm like, it worked back then. What's happened to our sunglasses?
Now that's a conspiracy theory worth getting into.
Yeah, there's so many to get into, but
No, I don't see anything.
I will say it's pretty cool to see the ring. You see the big ring outside?
Oh yeah, that's cool. Almost looks like an eyeball or something.
Jesus.
He's looking down on us.
He's like,
I'll take it. I'll accept that. I receive that.
there we go.
I receive that.
Well, Stace, thank you so much for coming on a walk and
man.
talk.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stace, for joining us on a walk and talk. And come back next week as we have Valerie Vineyard from 806 Mortgage joining us.
Let's not waste time or take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down.